Well, hello. Happy Thursday. We made it. It's almost the weekend. One more day. Um, what are we gonna be doing today? ReactJS, as always. Yesterday we had a very long stream where we chatted about, I don't know, I think almost everything. So today is gonna be a little bit more about coding, I guess, like actual coding. As always, if you're watching, let me know here in the chat box. How's it doing? How's it going? And I hope that we're gonna have a fun stream. We're just gonna, for a second, upload an Instagram story that we are live. And yeah, let's get started. It's already part 7 of our React tutorial. I cannot believe how fast it has gone. Let me show you what we were doing this far. So here is our dashboard. We did yesterday the grid. We kind of tried to make it like the icon and the percentage, so those values to override their default colors and apply our colors, and we managed to do that. We also added CSS variables. So if you were watching yesterday's stream as a recording, or if you missed it and you do want to watch it, it's there. And you could watch it, I think, for the first 1 hour or so, and after that we just have a chat, and you can straight away jump into this video and continue coding with us here, with us. It's like as if there are like tons of people there. There is not. Let me just quickly put in the Instagram story that I was saying. By the way, are you following me on Instagram, or how did you find this channel? I'm interested. Because it's always interesting to know where does the traffic come from, where do people know you from, and if you're maybe hitting like some points in some search engines to understand if I'm targeting the right audience or not. Because my main thing is to get more people into tech, get more diversity into tech, and to hopefully be a tiny contributor in making tech more diverse, more inclusive. So that's kind of like the mission that I'm on. Today, actually, I was a little bit late to the stream because there was an interview that I was conducting. So we have this tech trainee program at work, and I was just going through my first interview and interviewing a candidate. It was, I don't know, I feel like having the streams and having YouTube videos really helped me in getting more confident when it comes to like speaking on camera, Although Zoom meetings are even easier because you actually have people there. And I mean, not that you're not real people, but it's just that there I can see the faces and I can see like interactions. But yeah, I guess today is going to be enough talking, and let's get into coding. So what I wanted to do is drop in some information here, and let me close all of those ones, and building up this kind of things. So let's maybe do this part. Let's do most profitable sections. So I think that at this point it would be a good idea if we can start working maybe with props, and maybe not with an API, because we don't have an API where to get this data from, but we can for sure like mock this data, right? We could create a JSON file and then kind of like read it out, and then once we do have an API, or if one day you have an API for that or want to extend this project with an API, then the only thing you will need to swap is to get the data from an API and not from the JSON file. But the component is going to be already prepared to receive this data. So that's what I want to do right now. I want to create this data, and I don't really know where would be the best place to do that, because I usually don't do that. Maybe let's create a folder called data, and there we're gonna write profitable sections dot JSON. And we're gonna, so what is a JSON? What is JSON? JSON is basically like an object. Is it a language? I'm not sure if it's a language, but it's let's say if it's a language, then it's very based with key and value, key and value, key and value. And the way how you write JSON is you mostly, I think you need to have it as an object. I don't know if it can be an array. Maybe it can also be an array. I don't know. This is like the very, very nitty gritty that I'm not sure. Actually, we're gonna go with an array because we don't need an object. We have an array, and in this array we're gonna have objects, and each object is gonna have the name, so electronics. Then it's gonna have uptrend or downtrend for our arrow, and then we're gonna have the profits. So let's write it like this. We're gonna have name of the section, right? And the thing with JSON is that you need to write everything in double quotes. Then we're gonna have trend and profit. So in the first one, it's gonna be electronics, trend. Actually, you know what? Well, let's do just uptrend, and it's gonna be a boolean, true or false. This one is true, and the profit is gonna be 56.23. Usually you would not write it like that. You would have a formatter that is formatting your currency, because I can assume that sometimes you will have different, not different, different, yeah, different currency, different probably customers that are like based in different places, in different spots of the world. And depending on their preferences, you're gonna display it in dollars, euros, any other local currency that you have. So let's do it like this, comma between the objects. The next one is computer, uptrend is false, and this one is 46.43. Another one is gonna be construction, and uptrend is true, and then 38.22. Let me close this one. You don't need to see that. I mean, you already saw that. Uptrend is true, and then if we go here, we're gonna have auto goods, and there is no uptrend, so we could remove this key, and that's gonna be kind of like one trick or one like tricky point of our data that we need to check if it's there or not. Then we have 33.21, and last one, camcoders. Cool, so now that we have this data, we need to find out how to import it, right? And let's see how that one is gonna work, because I don't think I've done that in a while now. So we're gonna import it on our dashboard. Yeah. I mean, this dashboard component might be doing already too much. So ideally, we would even split it even further. But that's probably something we can do later after we start refactoring, right? So let's import most profitable goods from, you go up, you go out of components, you go to data, and you go to profitable. And I'm not sure if we need to export it, but let's see if we do. So if we're just gonna output it here, is that gonna work? No, objects are not valid. Okay, what if I do 0 and then I do dot name? Yeah, it did work. Okay, cool. So we don't need to export it from the JSON, it just takes it automatically. So this is kind of like our little API. In the data folder, we're going to have all the data we need in order to display things like these. So for our third card, that is going to be most profitable sections, we will need to create another component, because now we have single product, but it's only for these two, where you have only an image, you have an amount, and then you have a trend. Now we will need to, how many of those do we have? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, they are kind of similar. The only difference is that, so this card and this card are similar, but then this card and this card are similar, but not similar to this one. This thing is similar. You know, you have like all this kind of stuff that are like repetitive. So what we could do is have maybe this part. So each of those things can be its own component and it can be iterable. But maybe as a start, let's create this. So we have this component, which is our card, and it has a headline. We already did that. If I close it a little bit, you'll see here, here's our most profitable sections. And the layout is a little bit off because it's for a tablet view. So as soon as I extend it a little bit further, then we have it the same as in our example in Dribble. So what I want to do is to add a component that is going to be responsible for displaying things right here. And for that, we're going to create a new folder called, what is that? Top products? Is it top? Oh, this is top product. Profitable chart, profitable table. Let's call it profitable table. It's a very awkward naming, but I'm not sure at this point if I can come up with anything better. Profitable ranking, or just ranking. Yeah, let's do ranking, right? Because it's like 1, 2, 3, and the other ones is just like a list. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna go with that. Then in ranking, we create index.js, export, import, export, ranking. I named it modules, but it should be module. So same structure as we have in any other place. We do index, ranking, and then ranking.module.scss. Then we import styles from this module. Okay. So now our dashboard. We need to import this component, which was ranking, and let's use it in here. And we're gonna pass to it our most profitable goods. So we can pass it as data, right? Because we're gonna be passing it in for this section as well as for this section. And then this one is profitable categories. So just pass it as data and you will know that this is the data that the component needs to display. It's a pretty common naming and it's fine to name it like that. So then we go to ranking, and in here we need to expect our data. And let's do a simple loop over this data. And how we do a loop is in JSX, you open curly brackets, you write data, what you want to loop over, then you write .map, you write probably an item or section or whatever you want to call it. So per entry, you could call it also entry, that's also fine. And you like do the, what is it? Arrow function, right? And then you open again parentheses because we're gonna have several elements, so you need to wrap them in parentheses. And let's for now output in a p tag, we can write the item.name. And maybe let's pass all also the index, and let's do here let's do here a span where we're going to output index plus 1, right? Because index in arrays, they start from 0 and we don't want to do 0 dot, we want to start from 1. So save it and let's see what we're getting. Boom. What did I do here? Why didn't I write it in curly brackets? There we go. There we go. And this needs to have a dot. Boom. Nice. So that's how we get those things to be outputted this way. So now if I want to continue and I want to maybe do it, so I was thinking about doing it in the B as a bold thingy, but let's maybe continue with span. I remember once somebody told me that it's a very bad practice to do the B and the I tags. I'm not really sure why, and I didn't check if they were just messing up with me or not. But that kind of like stuck with me. And now we can do the Bootstrap class name of margin left, maybe 2 to have, not margin left, margin right, to have just a small separation from the number. And now here I know that we can do class name, font bold, and it's gonna apply boldness. Bolder. It didn't. Why? We don't have the right font for that, or what? Oh, font weight bold. Okay. Font weight bold. Yeah, nice. All right, we have those little buds. Now we want to put our icons, right? We want to have an icon. Let's remove this p tag, we don't need it. Okay, so remember how it was not that long time ago, it was just 2 seconds ago that we created these profitable sections. I'm going to put it here at the bottom so we have a reference. So some of them have uptrend, boolean, some of them don't. And only for the ones who do have it, we want to display an icon. So we need to check. Still within the loop, we do item dot uptrend, and so we're saying basically that if there is such a thing as item dot uptrend, that's actually not gonna work. Okay, let's go with that, and I'll show you why it's not gonna work, or it's not gonna work. It's not gonna cater to all of our scenarios. That's the word. So if I have that, then I want to render an icon, the component, and remember in the component, no, that was not in the component. We had another component. Wait, that was in single product. We had here is uptrend, then styles uptrend. Okay, doesn't matter, we're not gonna do that. So icon, the one that we want is arrow, which is the default, but we also want to rotate the arrow top and down. So we need to give it classes, and we write classes because that's our prop, right? Because we pass classes and then the classes become class names if we check the icon component. So you see here we have props, and then we're just passing all the props down here, and then in the icon component, so if we open, for example, user icon, we see that we expect a prop as classes, or like named classes. So we go back to ranking, and our classes, we're going to define styles dot icon. So we always need to have a default. Not always, but this is kind of like how I like to have it. Why it doesn't like it? Oh, because it needs a div. Yeah. So that's interesting. Let's maybe make this div of a display flex. Yeah. And you see how now we have an issue because it's only 2 arrows, but in fact we have 3 arrows, and one of them is like a downtrend. So because we don't have the so we have uptrend as a boolean. If it exists, then we show it. That's what we say here. But this is not gonna work if the key exists, or if the key exists, but it is false. So we actually need to check if item.uptrend does not equal undefined. Is that like this? Yeah, I always confuse that. So undefined means that, for example, in this object, there is no uptrend. So the variable uptrend is undefined. And this way you could still use it as false and true in this case. So is it the most beautiful code? Probably not. But it's one way to do it, and we're working with data types. So there you go. Here is one check to kind of like keep in mind if you're coding with booleans. So now we have styles.icon, and we need to define those styles. So we said that we want to have like we want to have like a default, and then if we have something extra, then we will apply an additional class. Alexandra is saying, will React Native Netflix clone Streamcom or something else with React Native? I actually, I don't code in React Native, so probably not. It could be an interesting thing to try out if you want to kind of like go through it together and struggle with it together. I could eventually. It is something that I'm interested in because I have an interest in learning mobile development. That would be nice, but not anytime soon, I guess. Yeah. So far, I'm trying to give all the knowledge with APIs, web development, React, but not React Native for now. But I think on YouTube there are like many people who are doing React Native. So I'm sure there are like some very qualified people to follow there. So our styles.icon, by default, let's make it downtrend. I think that's also what we did in the other one, right? Our default one was downtrend. Although I don't like that the default one is a negative one, but you know, whatever. So I want to make it green, and for that I'm gonna peep into how we did it in the single product in the CSS, because it's gonna be the same. So our uptrend fill, so here we have, you see, icon and icon.path is gonna be like this. So we can actually copy that. We cannot reuse that from there because it's module CSS, so it's actually in its own components and rendered only when the component is rendered. However, I think if there is going to be a point where we are going to have this very repetitive, then we could take it out and put it in the index CSS, and that's styling that is like globally applied. Kalyani says, hi, hello, how are you, Kalyani? Haven't seen you here yesterday, I think, right? Or the day before as well. Alrighty. Copy that and put it in here. Yeah. Ooh, what is this? That doesn't look nice, does it? Why is this awkward? Wait a second. So the icon, let's check the arrow icon. So also another thing, not all the icons have the same build to them. So some of them require to override the fill in the path, some in the stroke of it. So let's check. Where's our arrow icon? And in here we can see, yeah, that stroke has it. And oh, so actually that's it, only the stroke. Okay, so we will need to override the stroke. Is that actually valid? I don't think you can target that, can you? You can't. Okay, then we will need to pass the color, I guess, right? So I slept early for past 2 days. It's 11:30 p.m. in India now. Oh yeah, I can, yeah. I'm also not gonna stream for too long today because I have very early interviews tomorrow as well, and I need to be sharp. Yeah, and so yeah, I can totally understand that. I actually wanted to stream earlier today, but then I didn't manage. Maybe tomorrow I can stream earlier, actually. Yeah, maybe I can stream like from 4 o'clock, so maybe you could join and we can have a chat. Although I saw glimpses of the streamings later. Oh, okay, cool. Yesterday we had a lot of cool discussions about, so yesterday most of the stream was just about chit-chatting. And a good chunk of it was about like interviews, industries, contracts. Yeah, I think that was like kind of like the main topics. So it's a very interesting one in my opinion, and many people have shared like different things, and we had like a crowd, so it was nice. So maybe we can have it maybe tomorrow as well, with more people joining, or I don't know, or maybe people actually have something fun to do on Fridays. Not like me. So yeah. Let's then find where the status alert is defined, which is in index.css, and we need to copy this because we're gonna pass it a color, and we're gonna check uptrend, then the green, else pass the red. And the green is gonna be this one, which is a little bit of a flaw because I don't like this. Oh, you know what actually we could do? So why I don't like it is because you're actually writing it hard-coded in the component, but what if your variable, like what if your green color changes? What if your red color changes? That's not very nice. So what I'm thinking is one way to tackle it is to actually create like a constant file where you could just read out those variables, you know, so you would have here like colors.red, for example. I'm planning to switch in the next 4 or 5 months, so I'll definitely go and check the videos about the interview part. Oh, nice. Yeah. I mean, we were not sharing necessarily like any how to get an interview advice, or no, that actually, yes. Well, check it out and let me know if the info is useful. Because it was a lot of talking and a lot of like sharing experiences. So it's really nice. And I think in general, like always kind of like keeping up with interviews, right? And even though it's freaking stressful, but kind of like always, well, not always, but from time to time, trying things out and seeing what's out there, it's healthy, right? In interviews. That maybe doesn't apply to everything in life. So I don't want to do this fill anymore. That's what I wanted. That's nice. It still looks a little bit weird to me. Oh no, it's okay. My music was a little bit lower. Okay, so now once it's downtrend, we want to flip the arrow, and that's where we're gonna do the, again, that is uptrend. But this time we're gonna do item.uptrend, and we're gonna add exclamation mark before that, which means if this thing is not true, because only in that case we want to rotate the arrow, because our arrow by default is pointing up. And you're gonna do an end and downtrend. Yeah, because it's not just like specifically icon anymore, right? It's actually just the rotation of the icon for the downtrend. I already done it like 3-4 times and I still forget it. Transform, rotate. 180 degrees. Yeah, there we go. All right. And then we also wanted to create the little bubble. that is going to display the profit. Right, I act as panelist for React in my organization, so I have to keep up with what's going on around in the React world. Oh, that's even better. That's kind of like a win-win for you. You get paid for that, and you really have to keep up with the stuff. So that's nice. But wait, Kalyani, didn't you say that they're also, like, in the company they're using still classes, right? Maybe you can somehow influence them and tell them that classes is already, you know, like, forgotten thing. Must move forward. I mean, if you want to invest the time in it, right? Because I could imagine that could also take some convincing. So now I want to do like the bubble of the profit. And I would assume that this is gonna be our, like, a separate component. Should we create already that? Let's do that. I want to create it as a separate component because we are going to be using it here, then in here, so it's everywhere. In order not to rewrite the classes again, let's just do it once. So profit amount, or you could just do price, but it's not really a price, right? It's like really profit. And amount is going to be the amount that we want to display, and in our case it's item dot, what was it, dot profit. Profit. Oh yes, I keep talking about that every now and then. It's kind of like putting in the information every day, you know, like, so already, like, subconsciously people think about it. Whoops. So profit amount, index.js. And here we are going to have probably just one paragraph tag, I would say. And we said that we're going to pass an amount, and here we're going to display an amount, right? And here profit amount from profit amount. There we go. Beautiful. CSS, let's style you. Profit amount, classes, class names, styles dot amount. So we want to make it, let's give it a border in order to understand how it looks like. I have a question. If it won't affect your flow, let me know, I'll ask. Yeah, go ahead and ask. 1px solid black. What did I do wrong? Border 1 pixel solid black. Amount. Oh, I didn't save this. Yeah, okay. So I usually like to put like a border in order to understand better what we're working on or what we're working with. So I can see that now I want to add a little bit of a padding. Oh no, wait, you know what? I think actually Bootstrap has a good class for this, and it's like a badge. Yeah. Yeah, look at this. Badge pill. And then a badge. We can do a badge dark, and then we can actually add more padding to it if we want. But it doesn't look quite the same, right? It's kind of like, it's nice, but I don't know. Okay, let's write our own. So we're gonna add some padding. It's gonna be like very tiny, like from the top maybe 0.25 rem, then 0.5 rem. Yeah, and then border radius is gonna be 15 pixels. Maybe 20 pixels? Yeah, 20 is nicer. And our background color is gonna be var dash 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 what? Text, main text? Yeah, I think that is, right? That is the color. And the color of the thing is gonna be, no, that's not true. Wait a second. So the color needs to be the same as the background. So main background. Yeah, barely visible. And var, that's also like another thing about this design. It's that if you have like a very highly calibrated monitor with like higher contrast, there is a chance that you're not gonna see that even. So main text. What about divider? It's probably not the best. Oh no, that's even worse. You know what? I think we should keep it black for readability reasons. I think it's really just bad to read it if you like. I cannot. Font weight I would put like a 600. Yeah, and I forgot the dollar. The dollar K or K dollar? K. Oh, the dollar comes first. Oops. So dollar space and then a K. Yeah, I think that's how it looks like. Yeah, with a little bit more padding maybe. 3.5 and 6. And then if we remove this one. Yeah, okay, not bad. Nice. So, for instance, I have a component called workflow, contains list of workflows, and other component workflow detail contains detail of workflow. I have made a link in the ID of workflow. Once I click on the ID, it should redirect to the detail page. So the catch is I'm not rendering them in each other, so I can't pass state via props. What other way can I pass the state? So you could I'm using redirect. How much of the state do you want to pass? How much of it do you have? Because if it's something that is not too big, you could actually pass it in the URL params. You could add it there, and then just like your other component can read out of it. If I understand it right. Once I click on the ID. Or can those two components have a mutual parent so they don't have to be inside of each other? Or so with Redux, right, if you have the Redux store, then you could store it there and then read out from each component. Or if you're using hooks, then you can just have a hook that stores this data for you and then distribute it to the components. But I guess my very first guess would check if the state can be in the parent if it makes sense to store it in the parent. And then the parent distributes it to both of those components, or via URL. That can be also a thing. They don't have a mutual parent. So then, is it possible to do it through the URL? So you would just add some params there. Because especially if you're like doing a redirect and you're doing like a link, then I think that the params of the URL would be kind of like a very appropriate place to do that. What do you think? I'll try it out. I'll try it out, the store thing. Yeah. But do you think that the params in the URL would not work? So because you're saying that you have the ID, right? And you click on it. So I would assume that this click also have some params. No? I was avoiding the stored part because I did not want it to be accessed throughout the app. So if it's a thing where you're just, so there's like one thing in one component, and then as soon as you click, you're just interested in this part to be passed to another component. If that's the case, then really like params is going to be the best idea. It could also suggest like cookies and stuff, but I think this is like an overkill for just passing states. I'll check how to implement params. Yep, that can be probably a good idea. Let me know how it goes. I'm curious to know if that helped or not, or if that was appropriate for that thing. Okay, let's continue then. Why is my arrow having like... Okay, it just has... So we have like p tags here that have like this massive margin bottom thing, and we need to remove that. And to do class name, margin bottom 0, equals. And then if we check another one, where is our other one? It was in the profit amount. Okay, so since we already have it here, we can do margin bottom is 0. And now it's all squished, because now we can actually give it like a unified margin bottom. So we have all the elements in one place, and then all of them have kind of like, so like the parent of them gives the margin bottom, not like each of them, you know? So, hello, Devashish. How's it going? This one, right? Margin bottom 2, like just like a very tiny one. And we can also do align items center. Yeah. And I also want this to be pushed like 100%. So where is this div coming from? From here. Yeah, I think we can swap this one for a fragment. So we're gonna import it. I'm doing okay. How was the interview? It was really nice, actually. Ooh, what did I do? No, I don't want that. It was really nice. I was saying earlier that I think actually doing like streams and doing like social media stuff really helped me being quite confident on camera, apparently, because I was doing it with like one of the heads of us, and I told him in like before the interview, like, oh, it's gonna be my first interview. I never interviewed anybody, so I think, right? So I'm quite new to that. And then at the end of the session, he was like, was this like really your first time? You were like so confident. And I was like, well, I guess I am now confident. I don't know. But yeah, it was kind of easy because actually HR gave us a list of questions that we have to ask. So I didn't have a lot of, no, that's not true. So I reviewed the coding challenge, and I was allocated like 3 questions that I can ask about the coding challenge in order to understand further the candidate and their level of skills. So I had my little, how do you say it? Contribution to assessing the candidate. And yeah, it went well. The candidate was also like very, there was a good vibe going on in the interview, basically. So yeah, that was nice. And it was also very helpful to see that the HR people gave us the set of questions, so you didn't need to come up with all of them yourself. And it's also because we need to assess all the candidates equally. So we are gonna ask everybody the same set of questions. And I have other colleagues who are going to interview other candidates. And so for us to have like an alignment, that's why we have the set of questions. Honestly, like a couple of questions I even had to Google. I was like, what is that? I have no idea what it is. So, but that's because I just suck with terms, you know, like they just don't stick around. But yeah. And tomorrow I have 2 other ones. One very early in the morning, and that's why I was thinking about not streaming too late today, because I need the sleep. Yesterday we streamed for a very long time, and I barely slept. So yeah, I cannot function like this. So I want to do now that this kind of like whole thing stretches till the end. Div. So if I give it a class name of width 100, should work. Yeah. Awesome. So what tips would you give to a newbie facing an interview after such a lovely experience? Well, what I appreciated about this candidate, and what I in general appreciate in any human being, and especially developers, is that people don't bullshit if they don't know things. You know, you can try out, and let's say I ask you like, what is React? And you'll be like, I think it's like I heard about it. It's like a framework and everything, but I haven't used it. You know, something like that. Like very honest and very open. Okay, maybe in case of React, you should know what it is because the coding challenge was written in React. But if, for example, I'm asking you about, I don't know, like yesterday we spoke about atomic design. It's okay to say that you don't know, right? And the idea is not that, like, you don't have to know everything if you're applying for the job, because actually, if you do know everything, then maybe you are overqualified for the job. So I would say keeping it very real, answering questions, asking questions back is definitely important, because then you kind of like also see what is important to the candidate, you know, and you kind of like understand that they probably did their research and they found like things that were not clear to them and they want to get to know about those things. So I would say that those top 3 would be mine. Yeah. And always prepare to talk about your coding challenge if you have done coding challenge before that, and then you have a technical interview. Always be prepared to talk about it and to explain your code. That's like as a tip. I think that's pretty how do you say it? That's pretty obvious, but not pretty obvious, you know. I would say so. Okay, so I gave it 100, and now I want the icon, this, and the profit to be in the same kind of like space. So we're gonna wrap it in a div, like this. Okay, and we're gonna need to give it also a class name of flex, dflex, and there we go. Now we can also give this one, let's give the okay, I want to give here some margin, so I'm gonna wrap this in like JavaScript. So in template literals, then JavaScript, and before that I'm gonna give it a class name of margin left, no, margin right 2. There we go, just a little bit of spacing. I think that's still like this margin, where do we have it? Margin bottom 2 is still too short. Let's do 4. Yeah, 4 seems nicer. Okay, now we've done this kind of stuff a little bit. It still doesn't look like that, but it's getting closer. So I want to do now, first of all, this doesn't have enough padding, I think, right? Yeah, it's kind of like the padding is really on the small side there. Have you ever tried React Post TypeScript? No, I personally haven't, but I think this is like the combination to go for now. I'm starting to think that maybe I should start learning TypeScript. Because also in the interview, the person who was interviewed, he was saying that his friends, web developers, they were suggesting him to learn TypeScript. Which made me think that probably if you're a beginner and you want to stand out, then learning TypeScript can enhance your CV and your portfolio, like put your skills a little bit more higher than the average, because it looks like it's becoming like more and more a thing to require to learn. And maybe since I am already kind of like hooked in this whole field, this doesn't apply to me as much, you know, like, so once like you already have a job and you don't plan on changing anything, then you're kind of like sit tight and just do whatever your company does, but that might be working against me. So maybe we should try React and TypeScript sometime. I don't know TypeScript, so that would be very much about learning TypeScript. But I think I would prefer learning TypeScript than learning CSS Grid. And I think I would make much more sense there. Yeah. Anything funny, memorable, or unexpected experience from the interview? No, not really. It was a very easy interview. It was also a person who is a career changer. So I felt really, it was really cool to, it reminded me a little bit of my early days when I was starting out and going through interviews and, seeing the passion of the person for coding and how they want to build stuff. It's really nice to see that. If you are great in JavaScript, there is less to learn in TypeScript. Oh, really? I mean, I don't know if I'm great, but I'm pretty good, I would say. I'm not bad. Maybe we should do some TypeScript then. With less talking, I promise. By the way, yesterday there was also a discussion, should there be more talking, should there be less talking? Many people said that they enjoyed the talking. I also enjoyed the talking, so I don't know. I think that's what we're all here for, right? Learn together as well as have the chit chat. That's my personal opinion. Okay, so what we need to also change here is this padding thing. Why is it bothering me that much right now? No, I'm not going to be changing that right now. That's too much. What I do want to do is the circles. Hey Tarek, what's up? Happy to see you. Made it. So here it is. Okay. So, boom. Like this. And then I want to add styles dot. Let's try something. I want to do styles dot talking plus plus. More talking is definitely the need of this hour. Yeah, I guess so, right? Kind of especially if you're watching it closer to midnight, you're not just gonna watch dry tutorials, right? No offense to the dry tutorials, but Okay, this music is blasting in my ear and I cannot even hear myself. Oh my god, why is this? There we go. More talking is definitely the need of this hour. Yeah, I read this already. Okay, so what I wanted to do, so you see how we have in here we have 1, 2, and 3, and the colors are different. So I was thinking maybe we could implement the number, so the index, in our colors. Or we could just use the child, right? The children's stuff. Wait. So we're not gonna do that. We're gonna do styles dot circle. It's not the best naming, but since it's CSS modules, it really doesn't matter because it's just here, so your circle is just gonna be in ranking and it's fine. So the circle in general, yeah, they all have the same color, which is the same background color as this one. Gonna have a border radius of 50%. And maybe some padding. This is pretty off topic, but I love listening to BTS while coding. What do you like to listen? Any favorites? Oh, so I have when I'm in the in the zone, in the mood, when I have to I don't know, reach a deadline or put something, I put rudimental. Like, this is just a must. I have to like be in the I don't know. Sometimes I like the hacking playlist from Spotify. It's kind of nice, but I think it kind of like evaporates towards after like a few of the tracks. I guess it depends. But I think if I really need to get to like to do it, then that's rudimental for sure. Wait, what is BTS? Because I've been hearing BTS a lot, and I don't think I know what it is. Is it the boy band? Is the Korean the K-pop, right? Is it pop? I don't know. I think I need to get more into K-pop because I think it can be like really helping. I'm good, thanks. Hope you're doing great. Yeah, fine. What CSS library you're using? I'm using Bootstrap. In this one, at least. So I don't know if you can see, but there is a tiny background there, and we need to make it with a padding of 2 rem. Ooh, that one is big. 1 rem. Korean boy band, yeah, that's what I thought. Yes, it is from South Korea, K-pop, yeah. It's funny, I was once living with a roommate, and she would first, like, we were best friends, you know, and like all of our laptops, well, like we were sharing everything we had. And my laptop was always in the kitchen, so whenever she was cooking, she would turn on my laptop, and she would, like, she's a big fan of K-pop, and she would put them on. And you know, there's this thing in Google where you can ask Google what's your profile. So eventually I was apparently a very young teenage girl who likes K-pop. And I was like, I have never listened to K-pop, so I don't know. But yeah, I think they're pretty nice. I saw there is a guy, Nathan Dev, and he just posted about some K-pop group turning 12, I think, or something like that, I don't know. And there was like an insert of the song, and I was like pretty catchy, and I actually enjoyed it. Something with girl, I don't remember which one, but I am gonna check it. Do you have maybe like a playlist like on Spotify or on YouTube that I can like as a beginner K-popper, where would I go, or what should I listen to? So what if I convert it? So if I put span, I can probably not do width and height, but I did want to do that. So what if I convert this to div, and this I convert to a p tag? I think then this should work. And then we don't need this. We can just keep it like... no, we do. We need div around that. Yeah, because if we don't have a div around that, this happens. Okay, never mind. Let me bring back the spans. So, since we cannot do width and height, we will need to go with paddings, which is not too bad. So the top one is gonna be 1 rem and the other one 1.2 rem maybe. It's still too big. 0.8. That's not too bad. But still, you know, I just feel that it's not centered and it's just off. No, I'm not gonna do that. I am gonna do the width and height. Yeah, I just feel like this is off and it doesn't feel good. So we're gonna do this, and yes, we will need to duplicate again the deflex, but that's not a problem, right? Right. And then align items, center. Oh, yeah, not bad, but I also want it in here, and what about this button? This one. So what if we do line height 50 pixels? Oh. And then we can do margin 0 auto. No, we cannot. Just a second. How can I center it? So give it a line height, that's fine. So then it's like the height of it is in the center, and then I need to push it. Would I just give it then margin? No, padding left of 25 pixels. So of 2 rem. No. 1.2. Okay, actually I don't need the dot. Why did I put the dot? Let's ditch the dot. Yeah. 1.5. No. Okay, this will have to be in pixels. 20 pixels. It's alright. It's fine. So in Spotify K-pop Dayback, and I would suggest you to start with BTS Dynamite, Butter, and Permission to Dance. Ooh, okay, I'll check those out. Wait, let me copy this and I'll put it in a note. Copy. So I will not forget it. There we go. Okay. Functional vs so versus, right? Functional versus class components. Which one do you think is better? I personally find myself liking the class components more, but it seems like they're avoided by most React devs. We have this whole discussion about putting dots in the sentences. Yeah, yeah, that's true. I remember that. Oh, by the way, today I had to fix typos that I did. 1 second, Tarek, I'll answer that. So about like dots, I forgot again a dot somewhere, but even worse. So I work in Germany, right? So every copy of text that I make, the product manager gives me in German and in English. I can spell and like check the things in English, but in German, don't ask me that. Like it's fine, you know, I can figure out some stuff, but I'm not gonna like proofread German, and half of the words I don't even understand. I get like the vibe of them. So apparently, so I had like a sentence about you can close a credit online or like at the place of the bank. And in German, close is abschließen, but for some reason, one L of the abschließen was missing, and the word was abschießen, which means to shoot down somebody. And that was in production for like a good couple of weeks now, so whoopsies. And then like the product manager, but the thing is that it's not only my fault, right? Because it goes through copy approval, it goes through ticket approval, it goes through QA, it goes through review, it goes through so many freaking phases, and nobody freaking noticed that. And that's like so funny for that. It's just like, oh, this is just damn. This reminded me of the first time when I was sending a mail here, and in Germany you actually have to write a mail. You know, it's like no email, it's actually a mail. So I was asking the authorities to send me my form of registration, or like proof of registration. So the word for it is Schicken, and instead of Schicken I wrote Schinken, and Schinken means salami. So needless to say, I didn't receive any proof of registration. I had to go and request it by like in person. From close to shut down, things escalated. Yeah, exactly. I work for a German automobile client. I know the feeling. Ooh, yeah. It's like, and the thing is about the German language is that they have so many, like this language is awesome for science, for being like very precise, very specific. So doing these kind of mistakes, it's like, yeah, okay, I didn't notice that there was an L, and apparently it means like now killing people. I have no idea. Not killing people, just like shooting down something. You need a coffee press machine in your company. Yeah. Right. I mean, we're all in home office now, right? So maybe that's why. So, Tarek, what did you ask? Functional versus class components. Which one do you think is better? I personally find myself liking the class components more, but it seems like they are being avoided by most React devs. So that's also another discussion that we had with Kalyani. Class components are not necessarily that they're being avoided, but they were in like previous versions of React, there was just a choice of functional and class component depending on the way how you wanted to use a component. So if you wanted to have a state component, then you would have to go for classes. But if you wanted to use something that is without a state, just like, for example, like our component here, the profit amount, there's no state here, just displaying props, then you would be able to go for a functional component. With the latest update of React, you are able to do fully functional components and use React hooks of useState to use the state in the functional component instead of loading a whole class component. In the React ecosystem, I very much prefer the functional components because I think they're much more simple. But I think when I first came from Vue.js, doing class components was a little bit more natural. But React class components, in my opinion, are overly complicated. Like, there is really no need for that. And they clearly fixed it, you know, there is a much better way now to do stuff. It seems to me like everyone is avoiding the disk keyword. That could be a thing. Yeah, because getting around the disk could be tricky. So maybe you're onto something here. Maybe people are avoiding that. That can be a thing. But I mean, at some point you cannot really avoid it if you have no option. Right? I find that this makes things clearer. Yeah, I also think that as soon as you kind of like get the hang of it, it's not that complicated. I think it's just hard to come around a very good explanation of the disk, especially if you're just starting to learn. So it's a little bit hard to like grasp the concept. But yeah. So I wanted to use like the I don't know if we can use that though because of the module CSS, but probably we can. So nth child, if we do 1, and we do background color red. Oh, not var. Wait, nth child means every first child, right? Damn, how to use nth child? Let's Google that. Nth child CSS. Oh, okay, no, that's wrong. I don't need to select the circle. I need to select this one and no, I need to select this. Okay, so we need a parent class here, I suspect. And it's gonna be where is it? This styles dot ranking styles, and then we're gonna do like this dot ranking ranking is gonna be like this. No. Ah, damn. The class components are wordy. That's my excuse. Yeah, that's also true. It's just like, I mean, I have never seen a class component that is tiny. It's always like, you know, and I don't like that. I prefer it like to be very succinct and to the point and like tiny and like clear, you know? I feel like with class components you cannot really do that. It's always like there's always going to be this like elephant. So what am I doing wrong here? I'm already so tired. So I'm selecting the ranking div and I want to tell it find, maybe I need to find the first child of the ranking and the circle of it needs to be red. Damn. What if I do first child? Now, see, now that just doesn't make sense to me. So what is our DOM? So we have our ranking and then we have the children, right? Those ones, 1, 2, 3, and inside of it, so we say, hey, ranking, find your first child, n+1, can you check first child? Yeah. So we select this one, and then we say, find the circle and make it red. Ranking first child, ranking first child. Any other ideas? Refreshing in like hope that something is going to change. What do you want to do exactly? So I want like to target one circle, so only the one with the number 1. I want it to be of a color that I'm going to set here, because I want to do this part. So I want to do first child is going to be this, second child is this, and third child is this, and the rest, like, I don't care. So that's what I want to do. Why are all of them first child? That's just not correct, is it? Maybe you can use conditions with indexes item. Yeah, but then like I feel that if you have like 3 of them, it can really grow, right? But I suspect that maybe there is something with the CSS modules, but we cannot do that. Check if it actually which is the first child. Is it selecting the correct element? Yeah, it's not, right? Because it's selecting. Maybe, oh wait, maybe it's selecting like the whole thing. What if we do the dot circle first child? I think it is selecting the parent of all the elements that has a circle. Yeah, right? All the elements are under one div, it seems. Yeah, I think so. So should we just move it like below here to this one maybe? Yay! Is the code on GitHub? Yeah. I usually push after every session the latest changes. Although I didn't do yesterday because it was way too late to do that. So today I'm gonna push for the 2 days. So I guess what was happening is that ranking was one single parent, and I guess you can you cannot select first child. Like you need to be a child in order to select yourself, if that makes sense. You cannot be a parent and select the first child. That's how I understand it. So now, because we have the ranking as a loop here, so we have like 5 of them. So we can say, hey, ranking first child, your circle needs to be this, right? So now we can do nth child. Oh, and about the GitHub, I have the link in the description in the box below. Yeah, okay. And that's what I wanted to achieve. Not with those colors though. So I also want to make the font bolder. Yeah, let's do it here. Font weight 600. And now let's select the colors. So for the gold, the selection starts from the child and then looks for the parent. I believe selectors are parsed from right to left. I think there is something like that, but I'm not really sure. That might be a new thing that I'm hearing. I remember that when I was doing like JavaScript stuff, it was saying that you need to read JavaScript sometimes from right to left. But CSS classes as well? I don't know. So what's the gold? Like this. Or here we have a color, and then let's add opacity to it. Okay. But also this one has the color inside of it is a little bit different. Orange. It's not gonna be orange, it's gonna be like dark brown. No. Like this. Color. And you see that here our contrast ratio complains, so we need to change our background color because that's a no-no. I feel like this is gonna be fine. What about this one? Still not fine. So find all the first children and then it will look for one that has a parent with the class of dot ranking. Oh, okay. That's the model I have money about that. Makes sense. So it's like, it's gonna find all the dot circles and then it's gonna find the first child of the dot ranking. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, I don't know if that's how it works, but I think to like code with that thing in mind helps. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna keep it black because it looks like the accessibility of it is not the best. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it black. It's okay. Then we want like a grayish. Like this. And browns. Kind of, right? I think it's alright like this. What do you think? I think it's a little bit smaller here. We got like a little bit, or I got. Do you have, do you always have so few viewers? It's sad. Why is it sad? I have 5 people. That's, for me, that's a big round. I don't know. Whoever wants to join, joins. So, I'm gonna make it smaller then, because I think it's a little bit too big, right? Let's do, what about like 35? 35. 35. 40? Let's do it 40 maybe? And then 10? 15? Yeah, I think that's okay. The one is a little bit off, but that's because like all the other letters or numbers are like the width of them is bigger, so I don't know. Quality not quantity, lol. Yeah, I agree. So, and also like it's not like I'm a, I don't know, who is the most famous developer in the world? Bill Gates. I mean, how would people know that I'm streaming? Just a regular person streaming sometimes on YouTube, you know? So let's add some paddings now, because now it just looks sad. If we're gonna go to, which component was that? It's our dashboard, and then we have the class name section. So every section, where's our dashboard? Here. So every section has, wait, where were we defining the, where did we define the margins? Oh, in the card probably, right? So let's open the card. And then here we open the style of the card. Yeah, padding 1 rem. So what if we do like 1.5? 2? Yeah, 2 looks nicer. Now we need to give the header a little bit also of margin bottom. Don't look yet at this kind of stuff. This is still squished. Margin bottom to our header. It's this one. Not bad. I think this headline should be a little bit bigger. Did it go bigger? No. Did I define the style, like the size of it? Yeah, I did. So if I comment it, I think it's better like this, right? It's not too bad. So is this your own project? I mean, for practice, or it's an actual product from the company you work for? No, I mean, there is no way I'm gonna be showing my work projects online. This is not something that is doable. This is just a project. It's not for me. It's just like to show how React works. Trying to kind of like take you on a journey with me to code along. That's the idea behind it. Do you worry about grid support for a production app? Yep. That depends. So I think grid now has become a little bit more widespread, but so depending on your product, depending on your audience, and depending if you are paying attention to that, then yes, at work we do that. We only recently, and by recently I mean like really a couple of months ago, gave up on the support for IE 11, which was massive news, because developing in like catering for IE 11 is a completely different world of development and brain fog. So at work we would, like, you always need to check that everything works on different devices, everything works on different browsers and on older browsers or newer browsers. So yeah, for production you would definitely care. However, in other companies that I have worked, they didn't care about these things. They would just check like the latest Firefox, Safari, and Chrome, and that was enough. And those things usually they get adaptation to those tech or like those new things quite fast. But there the product was also pretty new, so I think that you wouldn't have a clientele of I don't know, like banks or people who work in accounting or things like that, you know, that physically cannot allow themselves to actually update their systems. Amit says, yep, that's exactly what I was thinking. So how do you manage your actual work and YouTube stream, Wonder Woman? Yeah, that's why I'm tired. That's why I decided to stream like around 7 p.m. because that gives me enough time to finish work, still have like 3-4 hours for myself, do stuff like eat, work out, do like house stuff, spend time with other people, and then come and jump on the stream. I also start working pretty early. I usually start working, so in winter I start working at 7. In summer I start working at 8. And that's the difference between winter and summer, is that in winter the days are very, very short here. So like daylight, and I want to like finish it very, very fast, the work, so I can have like the illusion that my day is still not over. Because otherwise you start working in the dark and then you end working in the dark, and then kind of like your day is gone. So summer is not like this. Coding for AI is like trying to please an abusive spouse. Yeah, I guess in a way. It's I wouldn't say abusive, I would say a very, very, very picky toddler. Like or a picky teenager, you know? But yeah. So I was saying that tomorrow I'm thinking about streaming a little bit earlier. Maybe around like 4 and not 7. I don't know. What do you think? Would that be nicer to start streaming earlier on Friday? Because I've done like longer hours today and I have some hours to spare, so I can start earlier. Sounds good. Okay. Okay, so also like this stuff, they need to change color, right? Why did we not change that? So we remove this thing and then I mean, it's not really readable, but let's do it the way that the design is. Not really... No, this doesn't work at all. That's probably why they changed it. What other text do we have? Let's create maybe a little bit of a darker text. Like, yeah, this one is good, right? This one I can go with. We're gonna call it secondary. Yep, nice. So now we can use here secondary text. Okay, not too bad. Weird coloring a little bit, but I can live with that. And then we also have our the ranking has, so I'm actually not gonna give it here. I'm gonna give it to the whole ranking. There we go. Yeah. That would be good. Cool. Then we agree. Tomorrow, 4 p.m. Okay. What do you think about these colors? Are they okay, or they're like hurtful to your eyes? This one looks a little bit better though. Let me try again. No, where did you go? Let's do it lighter, brighter. Like this is okay. I don't think they would get AA compliance. Yeah, right? They already don't actually. You can see it here when we hover on it. See, there is like the accessibility and the contrast. Okay, we have this color. This one is getting the compliance. We gotta go with the compliance. We don't want to not do it right, right? So this one can be a little bit more bright. Da 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 da. And then this. So the color of it is going to be gray, and then so until, yeah, there we go. As soon as it passes the 4.5 contrast ratio, then it's compliant. Yep. And our bronze, which doesn't look like bronze at all, looks like, I don't know what. Is that a bronze? How do you get a bronze? Is it a little bit more orangey? Yeah. There we go. Okay, this is nicer. This I can live with, totally. Very nice. Also, these colors need to be much darker. So we said, I don't know, it still needs to be darker, even though we created. Wait, is our profit amount has a color? Yeah, we need to remove this one. Okay, not too bad. Is it like passing the contrast? It doesn't have the contrasting. So and now we can hover on it. No, still? No contrast information available. Why is that? The F is bronze according to Wikipedia. Let's check. I like that we're Googling what it, like asking Wikipedia what is bronze. Okay. That might be indeed closer, right? So let's remember this color. We're gonna change it to this color. Yeah, why not? Now our contrast is off. There we go. All right, now we have our gold, what is it? Silver and bronze. I think it must have a parent to be able to compare its contrast to. Okay, so it cannot compare to itself. Interesting. I think the arrows need to be a little bit smaller. I think they're too big, and they're very there. They could be like on a more like of a contrast. So since we're already like passing here the values, maybe we can change that. I remember reading something like that about why it fails to get contrast information. Interesting. One of my goals is also to get to understand accessibility better. So that's an interesting insight. So if we take, let's just apply it to this background just for a second. And now I want to make it like this. So just add 2DC1577A. Would this be DA? I don't know. What did I do here? Not really. Oh, so it's also gonna be 7A, okay. I know when you do it like with RGBA, it's simple because it's like 0.7. Oh, maybe that's what it also represents, right? It's this percentage of like 0 and then it has A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. Maybe not. Yay, now it's like very pale. What if we do 5A? Oh, that's even more. 9? Was there a 9 or was it just 8? Okay, 9 is fine. Right? 9 is not bad. Okay. So today we coded, yay! Tomorrow we're gonna be streaming at 4 o'clock. And from 4 o'clock, we have to finish these ones. We have to finish all of our cards. Check WebAIM for accessibility. They take the complex long W3C compliance list and they give you a summary of what you should do to get a certain compliance rate. Oh, interesting. I also know that at work they told me one thing that I need to download for our repository, and it's basically like a GitHub check that is going to tell you how compliant your code is, and it's gonna define your problems and tell you everything. Is that the same? No, that's probably not it. But yeah, that's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Eric. Always very helpful. Okay, I think that our dashy dash for today is good. Oh, we still need to put general statistics. We're gonna do it tomorrow. So we're gonna fill in out all of this information and hopefully making it better responsive. And maybe we're gonna be done tomorrow. Hey, I still didn't say it, you know? Every stream I open with, maybe tomorrow or maybe today is gonna be the day when we finish everything. Today I didn't promise you that. So maybe I will promise you that for tomorrow. We're gonna have a little bit more time. Hopefully I'm gonna be a little bit more refreshed. And yeah. Tomorrow's a new day and we're gonna have more progress. So I think I'm gonna be wrapping up from yesterday's long stream. I really need a very good long sleep to restore all my powers. And yeah, let's meet tomorrow 4 p.m. Central European Summer Time. And I hope you're gonna have a good evening, night, and I'm gonna wish you a good day, evening, night, wherever you are. Stay safe and see you tomorrow then. Bye. I'm gonna stay a little bit longer in the chat if you wanna say something, but if not, then see you tomorrow. Have a good evening. Thanks, Tarek. You too. And thanks to everybody who joined.